the piece de la resistance, as I like to call it, the voice cast of the Mario movie. And this is where the internet blew up. Let's talk about this Nintendo Direct stuff that happened. Now, I made a comment to a friend of mine about Nintendo's presentations. A lot of it is very tongue-in-cheek. A lot of it is very family-oriented and kind of goofy. They're still trying to portray that they are the fun video game company and all that. But for me, it doesn't work anymore. Maybe it's just me. I don't know if I'm getting old and curmudgeon-y like and cranky in my old age, you know, but I'm so used to seeing presentations from Sony and Xbox that are very professional, very serious, and hey guys, we're gonna show you all this stuff. So, you know, when I saw like one of the producers or developers of Splatoon doing his crazy presentation there, I thought it was silly. I was laughing my ass off because I'm like, this is so ridiculous. Every time the dude from Nintendo would show up, it's like, so what do you think? Or how about that? Like, come on, you know, what is this, the 80s? You know, I feel like that would have worked in the past, but for me, it just doesn't work anymore, right? Plus, Nintendo's tactics of being transparent are very odd for me these days. We never know what they're working on. They drop these Nintendo Directs out of nowhere, and they use this as a platform to kind of surprise us with what they're working on or a drop that's happening. So it's very odd, their business model currently. And I find it extremely frustrating that as an old school Nintendo fan, I go to Nintendo not for the third-party stuff. I know in the past, Nintendo suffered from lack of third-party support, you know, because they were always about first-party stuff. And if you wanted to produce for our system, you had to go through this crazy song and dance and all that stuff, right, to get in there. Now they've made it extremely easy. Now there's nothing but third-party stuff, and it's flooded with that, and I'm not getting enough of first-party stuff. So it's kind of like a, you know, a weird switch in roles and circumstances there. So I want to see more Nintendo properties, and you know, we haven't been getting them, and it's been very disappointing. Very disappointing. So I was not extremely excited when this Nintendo Direct was going to launch, but of course I am very curious. So I decided to check it out, and I have to admit there were some good surprises in there. We're finally getting another Kirby game. This time it's a more Kirby 3D game, which I think it's about time. It is kind of odd that it's a post-apocalyptic type of adventure. I don't know what that's all about, but at least we are getting a new Kirby game, and maybe it'll play out a little differently. After first hearing about it back in 2017, I believe, finally we're getting details about Bayonetta, and now we're getting a Bayonetta 3, which is very, very exciting to hear about. And I'm sure all of you female cosplayers out there are extremely excited to see what new costumes you could pull out of this game. I was laughing watching the teaser trailer that they had, because Bayonetta there is acting more and more like Ulala from Space Channel 5 and dancing around in her extravagant costumes and fighting styles and all that. It's pure fun and entertainment, and I can't wait. As I mentioned, we are getting another Splatoon game, Splatoon 3, and we got more details about that. For old school PlayStation players and fans of Final Fantasy and Square Enix, Chocobo Racing is finally coming back, and it's coming back as a kart racer. So that's a new game that's going to be launching next year on the Switch and possibly other Oh, sorry, no, it's not. It's the Switch exclusive, guys. So very, very cool stuff. You know, we got compilations that are out of left field that we weren't expecting, like Castlevania Advance Collection, which is a series of their handheld releases that they did on Nintendo platforms, along with a Super NES version in there. So very, very cool. That's not Nintendo exclusive, by the way. I saw that available to purchase on Xbox, on the Microsoft Store. I was shocked to see ActRaiser coming back. The minute it flashed on screen, I'm like, that's ActRaiser. And boom, ActRaiser is coming back as a remake that is available now. It was again, the surprise drops that they do is fascinating to me, because it's like, hey, Nintendo Direct, by the way, this thing we're talking about, boom, you can get it today. So very, very interesting stuff. You know, we were teased that there's going to be an Animal Crossing event airing in October that's going to dive deep into probably a new DLC or what have you. We didn't get any Pokemon news, right? Because, you know, they had some recent Pokemon stuff, but we were given details about this new upgrade to the Nintendo Online service, which currently now you can get, and it's really, really dirt cheap. I forget the details of it, but it grants you access to the virtual systems of the NES and Super Nintendo, and they've had several releases come out throughout the years supporting these virtual platforms on the Nintendo Switch. So if you're an old school gamer, you like to revisit them, you had a blast, right? They've announced this interesting thing where it's another level of the premium service, and they're calling it Nintendo Switch Online Plus Expansion Pass. Terrible name. Hopefully they're gonna change it up, name it something else. Plus, they didn't divulge what the cost structure is going to be here. So I'm very curious about that, you know, because other than the ability of playing Nintendo and Super Nintendo games, there really is no true benefit of signing up for their online service. Will that change now with their Plus Expansion Pass? We don't know. But the bonuses that you get for upgrading is quite interesting, because now you're going to have access to their virtual console of the Nintendo 64. So you'll be able to play classics like Super Mario 64, Star Fox 64, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, which are great titles. And if you haven't had a chance to ever play those, this is a great opportunity for you to play them now. Then they announced that additional titles will be coming down the line, like Majora's Mask. Again, if you're a huge Zelda fan, these are main staples in this franchise. So must plays. F-Zero, Banjo-Kazooie. Then the shocker, you're going to be able to get access to a virtual console for the Sega Genesis. Where did this come from? You know, we know Sega and Nintendo have been playing nice for a while now, but boom, on a Nintendo platform, you're going to be able to play Sega Genesis games. You know, so you'll get to play games like Sonic 2, Echo the Dolphin, Golden Axe. Basically, if you picked up the Sega Genesis Mini, the titles you have access to there are pretty much the same titles you're going to have access to on this virtual console. I think this is an interesting move from Nintendo, because there have been speculations about their new mini console possibly being a Nintendo 64 version. No announcements about that, and not saying that we're not going to be able to get one of those later on down the line, but to get it virtually and to be the first thing announced is very interesting. And a lot of this stuff sounds like it's going to be available by the end of October. Plus, as a member, you're going to be able to purchase the Nintendo 64 controller and the Sega Genesis controller for $50 each once they're made available. which is very cool. But I've always had a problem with that because to this day, you still cannot buy a Super NES controller because it's been sold out forever. If you didn't get on that on day one, you're pretty much assed out. The same thing with the NES controller. You know, plus we're buying these old school controllers for $50 a pop. Yeah, I have a little issue with that. Here's my other issue. And I'm sick of Nintendo playing favoritism. In Japan only, you can buy the 6-button Sega Genesis controller from Nintendo to play on the Switch for the Sega Genesis Virtual Console. Why? Why are you excluding us here in the US from these lovely, lovely things? It's not fair. So, you know, a lot of us are going to try to import that stuff and pay extremely high shipping rates and yada, yada, yada. So, not cool, Nintendo. Not cool. But the piece de la resistance, as I like to call it, is you had Shigeru Miyamoto interrupt the presentation. And I love Miyamoto-san. You know, I had a chance to meet him once ages ago when I worked in the industry at E3. Well, it wasn't at E3, it was at an E3 event, award ceremony afterwards, right? A very cool guy, very happy, always smiling. He interrupts, and all of a sudden he announces details about the Mario movie that is being worked on by Illumination Studios. Now, we know that this was something that they've been working on. We just haven't heard about it for a long time. Well, those of us who follow movie news knew about this for a while. Let me rephrase. So it's interesting that he brought it up. You know, and if you're not familiar with Illumination Studios, they're the ones who've done the Sing franchise. So Sing 2, that's coming out. Secret Life of Pets. You know, that is a very popular series for the kids. You know, they're responsible for those movies, and they're responsible for the Despicable Me and Minions movies. So they have some, you know, titles under their belt there. So it's going to be really interesting. He said, we don't have a lot of details to show you, but we just want to let you know that it's coming out holiday of 2022 in December. But what we're going to tell you is the voice cast of the Mario movie. And this is where the internet blew up. Here we go. Voice of Mario, Chris Pratt. Voice of Peach, Anya Taylor-Joy, who I love. That is like future ex-wife material for me. Queen's Gambit, anything she does, love her. Charlie Day as Luigi. Jack Black as Bowser, which I think is brilliant. Keegan-Michael Key as Toad. That's going to be really interesting. Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. The memes of seeing Donkey Kong with Seth Rogen's laugh going around internet was amazing and fun to watch. Fred Armisen as Cranky Kong. Kevin Michael Richardson as Kamek. Sebastian Maniscalco as Spike. And here was the huge slap in the face, which I couldn't help but laugh at. Cameos from other Nintendo characters from Charles Martinet, who is the original voice of Mario for years and years and years. Man, that sucked. You know. But I understand it. I get it. You know, I get it. Look, if you played a recent Mario game these days, all Mario ever says is like, woohoo, hee hee, oh, here we go. Like that, you know. We don't know if he could carry a full movie dialogue, you know. But the reason why studios do this too is to draw attention, to get people to watch the movie, because we have these high, like, popular actors in Hollywood attached to the movie. I get it, but also don't like it at the same time, because you're taking work away from valid, talented voice actors in the industry, and there are a ton of them. There are a ton of them out there that cannot get work because studios like this always do this stuff. Because these studios feel like you gotta grab the big Hollywood talent to draw butts into seats and to get people to pay for that ticket or buy that movie, right? Again, I understand both sides, but I do find it extremely unfair for the voice acting community because there's so many talented people out there who can't get jobs like this. How do we know Chris Pratt will do a great job at Mario? I mean, yeah, he's done a voice already for the Lego movie, which worked out all right. You know, Anya Taylor-Joy, I don't know if she's going to be able to do a good Peach or be entertaining as Peach. Charlie Day with his like neuroses and his franticness and all that stuff like that could possibly lend to a great Luigi. So who knows, you know, but it was fascinating to see the outpouring of disappointment about Chris Pratt. You know, it is hilarious how you can be the sweetheart one day and all of a sudden people are just tired of you the next. You know, and Chris Pratt is definitely one of those guys that fell into that trap right now. Or it's not even a trap, just fell into that situation. Everyone loved him on Parks and Rec. You know, when he started venturing into movies, people were really loving him. Then he landed the role of Star-Lord in Guardians of the Galaxy, and that's really what blew up for him. People, at that time, it was peak love for Chris Pratt. Then things started slowing down. Why? Because Hollywood does what Hollywood does and wanted to turn Chris Pratt into an action star when it was not necessary. So then he was in Jurassic Park and these other action movies. And then people wanted to know about his religious beliefs because apparently the church that he is involved in have not so great things to say about the LGBTQ community, which he claims is false. Plus, he doesn't really talk about his affiliations when it comes to politics, and people are wondering, yo, what is he? Which side does he stand on? You know, so all of a sudden he's become a guy that people are just sick and tired of. And it sucks. You know, I have nothing against Chris Pratt. I think he's great as Star-Lord. You know, I did enjoy his voice acting in the Lego movies. But who knows, you know, like you can't have a Mario movie now with the stereotypical Italian accent. That's just not gonna fly anymore. And it's funny because Chris Pratt, he released this video on his social, you know, like, it's me, Mario. And he's like, no, that's not gonna be the voice, but we've been working really hard on the voice. And we hope that you guys enjoy it, because you really cannot do that these days. Because that's not gonna float well in our woke society, right? So how is the voice gonna be? You know? Is it gonna be, hey, it's me, I'm Mario, what's up, yo? That would be hilarious, you know. Is he gonna sound extremely white? I don't know. Is he gonna be goofy? You know, how's Peach gonna sound like? How's Luigi gonna sound like? Is Luigi gonna have that like typical Charlie Day voice, like I'm going losing my mind? You know, who knows? Jack Black is gonna be great as Bowser. I think Seth Rogen is a perfect casting for Donkey Kong. You know, see Donkey Kong goofing around and all that. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. Look, this could be a train wreck for all we know, or it could surprise us and be thoroughly enjoyable and entertaining. A lot of us were wondering how the Sonic movie was going to turn out, you know, especially when we got the first glimpse of the character design and the internet again blew up and didn't like it. Then it forced the studio to actually change the look of the character to make it more like the video game character that we knew. And guess what? The movie turned out to be fun and enjoyable. And we haven't had Jim Carrey be Jim Carrey like that in a long time. So everything worked out. But this is a live action movie, right? We don't know how the animation is going to be like. Again, if you look at the lineup of Illumination movies, very interesting stuff there, you know, and they've done a decent job. You know, a lot of it doesn't speak for me, but I'm not their primary target audience. And for all we know, this is going to be for the kids who love the Mario Brothers, who love playing the games. There's no other form of Super Mario media right now. Not like how it was when I was growing up. We had the cartoons, we had the comic books, we had a lot of different Mario exposures to Mario all over the place. And we haven't really been getting a lot of Mario games. We're getting Mario Party soon, if not already. The Mario Tennis. We had, some Mario games coming out recently. Very few these days. But yeah, let's see what happens. But I did find it fascinating when this news broke, and we found out that Chris Pratt is your voice of Mario in 2022. And the internet lost their goddamn minds. So very interesting stuff. Guys and gals, let me know what you think in the comments. Are you looking forward to this movie? Could you care less? What announcement from Nintendo Direct are you excited for? Are you looking forward to play, and what have you? And let's talk about that.